The broadcast flickered across the command deck, grainy but clear enough to show devastation. Towers once alive with light now smoldered, their steel skeletons leaning against black skis. Alien civilians ran through firestorms, their cries muted by distance, but not by imagination. A councilman's voice broke over the transmission. The Zarin predators have claimed another world. No fleet arrived in time. Survivors begged for aid. Captain Alina Vieira leaned forward in her command chair, jaw tight. The UTS Dauntless cruised silently through the void, her crew watching in grim silence. None dared speak first. Commander Wren, her executive officer, finally broke it. "It isn't our colony, Captain. The Council won't lift a finger, and our orders say nothing about alien defense." Alina turned, her eyes sharper than the viewports. "And when it is one of ours, do you think the predators will stop at strangers? They'll come for humanity too. We either face them here or we wait for them to burn our skis." Wren shifted uneasily but didn't argue. Everyone on the bridge had seen the raids escalate. Dozens of species had tried to fight. All had failed. A chime interrupted. A priority channel lit up across the displays. Avos Prime human territory. The feed showed chaos, orbital defenses crumbling, predator ships descending like iron vultures. Civilians screamed as shock troops tore through the settlements. Alina didn't hesitate. All ships within range converge on Avos Prime, maximum speed. Wren hesitated. The fleet's scattered, we'll reach it with barely half strength. "Half strength is better than watching another colony burn while we do nothing," Alina replied coldly, signaling the crews. "We're not prey, we fight." Hours later, the Dauntless cut through the void, flanked by 5 destroyers and a squadron of escorts. It was a fraction of what she wanted, but speed mattered more than numbers. "Status of Avos?" Alina asked. A sensor officer answered, voice grim. "Planetary defenses failing. Predator fleet still in orbit. 12 warships, maybe more. Civilians retreating into underground shelters, but casualties already catastrophic." The words hung heavy. "Patch me through to all ships," Alina ordered. A brief crackle, then her voice carried fleet-wide. "This is Captain Vieira. Avos Prime burns. The predators think us weak. They think we'll run. But every world they torch tells us the same truth. If we yield, humanity dies screaming in the dark. Today we prove otherwise. Target the flagship. Kill their leader and the pack scatters. Dauntless out." The transition into Avos orbit was jarring. Space lit by fire and plasma. Debris tumbling like shattered bones. Predator warships encircled the planet, their hulls dark and jagged, designed more like beasts than machines. "Contacts confirmed," the sensor officer reported. 12 Zarin warships, heavy armor closing on our vector." Alina's heart hammered, but her voice stayed still. "Bring us in fast. Launch fighters. Keep formation tight. We punch through to their flagship or we die trying." The Dauntless shook as the first Predator barrage streaked past. Red lances of plasma cut the void, vaporizing one of the escort frigates in a single strike. The crew flinched, but Alina didn't blink. "Return fire, target their escorts, wear down their shields." The Dauntless burned straight at the flagship. Her strategy was reckless, exactly what the Predators didn't expect. Most species scattered under first fire, choosing survival over defiance. Humans, Alina believed, had no such luxury. The Predator flagship loomed ahead, a monstrous vessel called the Blood Fang, its prow carved like a snarling maw. Its guns lit up the darkness, shredding anything in their path. "Shield integrity at 60%, an ensign shouted. "Hold steady," Alina barked. "Wren, prep the drone mines." Wren nodded, hands moving across controls. Hundreds of micromines released into space, cloaked against sensors. The Predator escorts, confident in their superiority, barreled straight through. Explosions rippled across the void. 3 enemy cruisers torn apart in an instant. The bridge crew erupted in cheers. Alina allowed herself only a single breath of satisfaction. Don't celebrate yet. Their flagship still stands. Inside the Predator warship, Warlord Kargeth Bloodfang watched the human assault with narrowed eyes. His towering frame loomed over the bridge, talons scraping the deck with every step. They attack head-on. One of his lieutenants growled in disbelief. Prey that charges the Predator. Kargeth bared his fangs, amused. Not prey, not yet. These creatures bite. Good. Break them slowly so the galaxy sees their blood. Back aboard the Dauntless, alarms screamed. Plasma tore across her hull, carving molten streaks. A second destroyer disintegrated under a direct hit. Wren cursed. We're losing ships, Captain. We can't hold this line. Yes, we can, Alina shot back. Her voice was calm, absolute. Redirect all batteries to the Bloodfang. We take out their heart or we don't go home at all. The ship's guns roared. Heavy rail slugs tore into Predator shields. For the first time, cracks appeared in the beast's armor. The galaxy's hunters bled. But the cost was brutal. Another Terran frigate erupted in fire. Alina's crew trembled, waiting for orders. She stood firm. Dauntless charge main cannon. Target Predator flagship's weapons array, on my mark. The ship vibrated as power built, lights dimming across the decks. The enemy bore down, close enough for their fangs to glint across the void. Fire! A white lance burst from the Dauntless, slamming into the Bloodfang. Explosions rippled across its forward guns, tearing open armor plating. For a breathless moment the Predators faltered. Their flagship staggered, wounded but alive. On the Bloodfang, Kargeth snarled. So the vermin have claws, good. Then I will rip them out myself. The battle spiraled into chaos. Human ships darted between hulking Predators, trading blood for every inch of ground. Fighter squadrons carved paths through enemy swarms, pilots screaming defiance even as they burned. On the bridge, Alina's voice never wavered, orders sharp and precise, cutting through fear like a blade. Her crew obeyed with a faith bordering on fanaticism. At last, the Predator fleet pulled back slightly, regrouping around their flagship. The Dauntless floated, scarred but unbroken, half her escorts gone, shields near collapse. Wren leaned close, sweat streaking his brow. They're regrouping. If they come again, we won't survive. Alina's gaze locked on the massive Predator flagship. Her lips curved into something caught between a smile and a snarl. Then we don't wait for them to come, she said softly. We finish this. The battlefield above Avos Prime burned with the wreckage of human and Predator ships alike. Hulks drifted silently, still glowing with residual fire. Their shadows stretched across the scarred planet below. Humanity had struck back, but the cost was severe. On the bridge of the Dauntless, smoke lingered in the air where conduits had ruptured. Crew patched panels and cleared debris while Captain Alina Vieira studied the tactical display. The Predator flagship, the Bloodfang, still prowled the void, wounded but unbroken. We've bought Avos Prime time, Commander Wren said quietly. But at this rate, we won't survive a second round. Alina's jaw tightened. She could feel the weight of every lost ship pressing down on her shoulders. Survival was never the goal, she said. It was proof. Wren frowned. Proof of what? That we don't break. That humans fight until nothing's left to burn. Across the void aboard the Bloodfang, Warlord Kargeth Bloodfang stood in silence. He had seen countless battles, led hunts across 100 systems, but the sight of human ships refusing to scatter unsettled him. Their tactics were reckless, their losses brutal, but their strikes had carved into his fleet in ways no lesser species had managed in generations. One of his lieutenants bowed, armored head lowered. Warlord, the vermin's flagship bleeds. Shall we press the kill? Kargeth's fangs glinted in the dim light. No, let them run. Let them think themselves clever. Prey with claws are rare. They make the best trophies. When we strike again, it will be where all can see. The galaxy will watch these humans shatter. Hours later, in the aftermath of battle, Alina gathered her surviving captains on encrypted comms. The screens lit with exhausted faces, officers bruised and bloodied, but still alive. "They underestimated us today," Alina began. "That won't happen again. Kargeth won't retreat forever. He'll come back with more ships, more fury. We need to be ready." Captain Mallory, commanding the battered Argus, shook his head. "We're running on fumes, Alina. Hulls torn open, crews half dead. The fleet can't keep this pace." "Then we adapt," Alina said firmly. "Humanity survived by adapting. We fight with what we have, not what we wish for." The silence on the channel carried more than fatigue. It carried doubt. Back on Earth, the United Terran Council convened in their polished chambers, debating far from the fire. News feeds replayed Avos Prime in ruins, showing both Predator atrocities and the human fleet's improbable stand. Councillor Draken leaned forward, his tone harsh. "We cannot provoke the Predators further. Every colony we hold could be razed within months. Peace talks may still be possible." Alina patched into the session from orbit, cutting in. "With respect, Counselor, peace with beasts is fantasy. They don't bargain, they don't honor treaties, they devour. We've seen it firsthand." Another counselor asked, "And if resistance dooms us all, should we condemn billions on pride?" Alina's eyes burned cold. "This isn't pride, this is survival. The moment we bend the knee, humanity becomes cattle. You think submission will save you. It will only feed them." The council wavered, trapped between fear and pragmatism. Alina returned to her ship with no promises of reinforcements. She gathered her officers in the briefing chamber. "We stand alone," she admitted. "The council won't commit. That means it's on us." Her crew exchanged uneasy glances. Lieutenant Oren muttered, "We're not enough, Captain. Not against a warlord like Kargeth." Alina tapped the display, pulling up the star map. A swirling nebula glowed at the edge of Terran space. "Maybe not head-on, but here," she pointed. "The Varian Nebula. Dense ion storms, sensor disruption, dangerous terrain." "Dangerous for them, more dangerous for us," Wren noted. "But it gives us something they don't expect," Alina said. "Invisibility." Wren understood instantly. "You want to lure them in." "They think we're prey," Alina said. "So we make them hunt us into a trap. Every asteroid, every ion storm becomes our weapon. We turn terrain into teeth." Before the plan could move forward, the fleet captured something rare. A Predator war priest left stranded aboard a crippled raider. The creature was hauled into a reinforced chamber, its body towering, claws bound in magnetic cuffs. Alina stood before him, studying his obsidian scales and scarred mandibles. "Why does your kind slaughter without end?" she asked. "What do you gain but ashes?" The war priest's eyes glowed with a feral light. His voice was a guttural snarl. "Hunger is gain, fear is feast. The strong carve their mark, the weak are meat. And you," he leaned forward, chains straining, "you are all meat." The room chilled. For a moment, Alina thought of the council back on Earth, still clinging to illusions of diplomacy. She turned away, voice iron. "Then words are useless. Only blood will speak." News of the interrogation spread through the crew. Some hardened, anger replacing fear. Others questioned whether they could fight such a species at all. In the mess hall, arguments flared. "They'll tear us apart," one engineer muttered. "We're outnumbered 100-1. A young pilot slammed his fist on the table. "Numbers don't matter. We proved it at Avos. We hit them harder than anyone's dared. We made them bleed." Alina overheard as she entered. She let their voices clash for a moment before speaking. "You're both right. They are stronger. They outnumber us and they will come again. But they've never fought humans before. Not really. We are not like the others. Every fight we've ever faced, we fought against impossible odds. History doesn't remember the predators. It remembers those who defied them." The room fell silent. In their captain's calm certainty, they found a fragment of belief to cling to. Far beyond human sensors, the Predator fleet regrouped. The Blood Fang floated amidst the hulks of reinforcement vessels newly arrived. Kargeth addressed his warriors, his voice carrying like thunder through the chamber. These humans strike like cornered beasts. Good, that makes the feast sweeter. The galaxy thinks them bold. Let us prove them wrong. When next we meet, we will burn their courage from the stars. His warriors roared in agreement, weapons raised. Kargeth's eyes narrowed, fixed on the star map that highlighted Terran space. Prepare the fleet. We hunt again. Back aboard the Dauntless, Elena stood alone in her quarters, staring at the holographic projection of the Varian Nebula. The swirling clouds glowed like fire caught in glass, dangerous, unpredictable, lethal to both hunter and hunted. Her reflection in the viewport showed not fear but resolve. She whispered to herself, voice steady, meant as much for the void as for her own heart. If they want a hunt, we'll give them one. But this time the prey has claws. The Varian Nebula loomed before the fleet, a storm of iron clouds and magnetic fury twisting in endless motion. To most commanders it was a graveyard. To Captain Elena Vera, it was the only chance left. The Dauntless slid into the swirling haze, its hull glowing under electric arcs. Behind it trailed the battered Terran flotilla, freighters hastily armed with rail guns, corvettes patched with salvaged plates, fighters retrofitted from mining craft. Every ship that could hold a weapon had joined. In the silence of the bridge, Commander Wren asked the question weighing on every soul. If this fails? Elena didn't flinch. Then humanity dies on its feet, not its knees. Far behind, the Predator war fleet advanced, their hulls cutting through the void like serrated knives. At its head loomed the Blood Fang, proud and monstrous despite its wounds from Avos. Warlord Kargeth Bloodfang stood at its prow, gazing at the nebula with contempt. They hide in storms, he growled. Let them. We'll drag them out and skin them in the light. His warriors bellowed in reply, pounding armored chests. For generations, no prey had ever dared to bait the hunters. Inside the nebula, the trap was set. Elena's fleet scattered along hidden vectors, deploying stealth drones into the dense ion fields. Rail gun turrets had been mounted on asteroids, their power couplings slaved to remote triggers. Contacts approaching fast, the sensor officer reported. Predators entering the cloud, their spreading formation. Elena's voice was steady. Hold fire until my mark. The shadows of the Predator fleet glowed, faint through the haze like predators stalking through fog. Their formation cut deeper, unaware of the mines drifting silently in their path. Now, Elena ordered. The void erupted. Mines detonated in blinding bursts, ripping holes through the first wave of warships. Predator hulls cracked and flared, their roars echoing over comms. Multiple kills confirmed, shouted the tactical officer. But the Predators pressed forward, their discipline unbroken. Rail gun batteries hidden in asteroids opened fire, launching slugs that tore through weakened shields. Human fighters darted out from cover, striking and retreating before the enemy could lock on. On the Blood Fang, Kargeth bared his fangs, enraged but exhilarated. Clever vermin, he snarled, but storms cannot save them forever. Push forward, tear out their heart. Hours turned into a blur of smoke and steel. Human ships fought with ruthless efficiency, sacrificing themselves to cripple Predator dreadnoughts. A freighter loaded with explosives rammed an enemy cruiser, erupting in a fireball that shattered half a squadron. Every loss bought a fragment of time. Still, the tide pressed heavier. Predator numbers dwindled but did not break. The Blood Fang carved deeper through the storm, spearing one Terran corvette after another. On the Dauntless, alarms screamed. Shields at 20%, an ensign cried. Wren turned to Elena. If we don't fall back, they'll crush us. Elena's eyes locked on the flagship cutting toward them. We're not falling back. Target the Blood Fang. All power to the main cannon. Her crew obeyed without hesitation. The Dauntless heaved under the charge buildup, lights dimming across the decks. Fire! The cannon roared, a lance of white tearing through the nebula. It struck the Predator flagship's prow, shattering plating, tearing away weapon banks. For the first time, the Blood Fang staggered. On its bridge, Kargath threw back his head and roared. So they wound me again. Good, then I will kill them myself. The final clash ignited near Artemis Station, a human stronghold guarding the frontier. Civilians watched from bunkers as fleets collided above, fire streaking across the heavens. Alina patched into fleet-wide comms, her voice filling every cockpit, every deck. They think we are vermin, they think we are meat, but today we prove otherwise. We are the storm they cannot tame. Hold your ground, every strike matters. Humanity stands here. Her words cut through exhaustion, rekindling fire in the hearts of weary crews. The Predators descended in full force, their flagship at the center. Alina's fleet answered with every weapon left. Suicide drones slammed into Predator engines. Civilian haulers, stripped bare and packed with warheads, drove themselves into enemy hulls. Artemis defense batteries joined, lancing fire through the chaos. The Dauntless led the charge straight at the Blood Fang. Plasma flared, tearing across her shields, but she pressed on. Ren shouted over the roar of the engines. "Captain, we won't survive a direct run." Alina's voice was calm steel. "Then make it count." The two flagships closed within striking distance. Human rail slugs hammered Predator armor while jagged lances of plasma tore holes through the Dauntless. Crews screamed as fire spread across decks. On the Predator bridge, Kargath's grin widened. "There is no escape. You are mine, Captain." Alina's face appeared across his comms, defiant, blood streaking her brow. "Then choke on us." With a final surge, the Dauntless unleashed its entire payload, missiles, rail guns, and drones in one colossal volley. The barrage punched through the Predator flagship's heart, igniting its reactor. The Blood Fang convulsed, flames ripping through its core. Kargath staggered, refusing to kneel even as fire consumed him. His last words echoed across comms, a guttural snarl. "Prey with fangs." The Blood Fang exploded in a sunbright blaze, shock waves tearing through the battlefield. Predator ships faltered, leaderless, breaking formation. Silence fell. The smoke of battle thinned, revealing the battered remains of the Terran fleet. Half their ships lay in ruins, but humanity still stood. On the Dauntless, systems flickered, fires dying down. Survivors gathered on the bridge, exhausted beyond words. Ren turned to Alina, voice hoarse. "We did it." Alina scanned the stars where the Predator flagship had burned away. Her body ached, every muscle heavy, but her eyes were fierce. She opened the comms to every surviving vessel. "Remember this day," she said. "We bled, we burned, but we stood. The Predators thought us prey. Now they know the truth." Her words hung over the comms, carried on the silence of space. "We are not prey, we are the Predators now."